Saddle up your horses.
What's going on, everybody? It is another episode of the Mainly Broncos podcast on this cold 41-degree evening here on the over on the Colorado side, Castle Rock side, if you will. Who knows what it's over like near Brandon's neck of the woods. I heard it was relatively cold over in Florida, Jordan, but relatively.
Yeah, for us, yeah.
Yeah.
It's 43 degrees up here. It snowed.
Well, thank you guys so much for hopping in. First things first, make sure you hit the subscribe button for the MHRT Network page. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button for the Mainly Broncos YouTube page. And there is a membership icon that's a part of this, the MHRT Network page. So make sure if you want to become a member that you hit the that join feature. There's different levels of what you can actually be a member for. Feel free to join in as much as your leisure if you feel like. So thank you guys to everybody that is going to be hopping in the chat this evening. It is going to be quite the evening tonight. And also, I will say this, to make us feel better, knowing the fact that the Broncos will, in fact, be adding new additions to this team, we will be doing a mock draft tonight just to at least like make us feel better and at least come away with something, knowing the fact of what it feels like to actually have a new player on our football team. So I will just give us the floor a little bit, Jordan and Brandon, that just kind of vent a little bit over the course of everything that's happened, and then we'll dive into, this mock draft, if you were.
Yeah, I mean, just for me, it's been very, very disappointing. I understand that we had extended some of our guys earlier and stuff like that, but just from the sheer aspect of just having little upgrades throughout the roster, and we have none, and it's the third day, it's pretty frustrating. I usually have a positive outlook on everything when it comes to the Broncos, but right now it's just bad. I would also add on top of the fact that it's been even worse because of the things that I've been hearing that I trust a lot. And it's very puzzling, to say the least, of what's going on with the Broncos. I mean, there has been frustration not only within the fans, but I mean, you can even tell like on the field of some of the things that was happening with the performances of certain people, and then they get re-signed, which again, I understand the locker room side of things and all that, but when there's other options available out in the market and just for the same amount of the price or a little bit, more expensive, you just got to do it. But yeah, I've been very frustrated with the whole turnout of free agency so far, but that's the PG version of saying everything, and the quick version, because we can go about this all day, which we are, but that's my little summary of it.
Brandon, perfect summary for Brandon, by the way, is the profile picture and then everything that he's going to be saying right now on top of it.
I actually was going to try to put on a mask like this. I couldn't figure out how to do it. So this is the next best thing. This sucks. I hate this. I hate this pretty much in every way possible. This just does not seem like a team that is legitimately serious about capitalizing on having a franchise quarterback on a rookie deal, which is pretty much the only time that you can actually afford to build around that player. And I don't know. This is ridiculous. Like, it does not seem like we are setting ourselves up for success when we have, one, relieved Sean Payton, who, his main credit for why you want him as your head coach. And this is nothing even directly against Payton. Like, he's literally saved this franchise. He brought us back to the postseason. I, am eternally thankful to him for what he's done. But when you remove the play calling duties from him, which, okay, I understand. Like, there were some questionable at best decisions that you had seen made on the field. And I get that. But you take away his offensive play calling, you give it to a guy who has, I don't know, 2 years of experience in coaching in general, 3 years of experience, I think. I don't remember exactly, but less than 5 in Davis Webb. And who knows how that's going to turn out. Was that just to prevent him from leaving? Was it a legitimate, like, Sean Payton realizing I need to turn this over? I don't know. But when you do that, and then you don't seem to actually care about improving the parts of your roster that are actually holding you back and are deficient, like, that is not a recipe for success. And, like, the whole view of, well, this is the team that just went to the AFC Championship game, and we're just going to run it back because that team is still there and it's good enough to do that, right? Like, you're banking on winning 9 plus 1-score games? I think there's more than that. 1-score games this year. Like, you already admitted that is probably not going to happen, and that was not a consistent winning formula. So I don't know. I'm baffled. The fact that we are one of 2 teams that have not signed a single outside free agent. It's not even like that I care about being one of the teams that hasn't done that yet. It's just like there were guys available and you didn't sign them, and instead you brought back starters that, like, for one, I have nothing against Alex Singleton. I love Alex Singleton as a person. I think he's even been a decent linebacker. Like, I think he gets overly hated on. He made some good plays for us this year. He's also going to be 33. Like, he cannot be your starting linebacker, especially at a position of linebacker where, like, you've had a weakness there for literally years. And so you just bring him back and he's going to be the starter. And just, like, I don't know. We'll get into it, but I'm just like, I don't understand what is currently being done in the front office. And I understand that, yes, they theoretically know more about this than I ever will, but it just seems like moves were there to be made and they're gun shy about making them. And I understand being cautious. Like, I'm not saying don't be cautious, but some of the contracts that have been handed out, just like, I'm not saying do the Alec Pierce move. Like, that was crazy. That was so much money for Alec Pierce. But some of the guys that have been signed, like Leo Chenal, great linebacker. There's been, I've gotten some discourse online for this because some people aren't as big a fan of him. I get it. He's not great. He's not perfect. I think he's great. He's not perfect. But I think he's better than Alex Singleton, and he didn't cost that much more. So this is my picture. All of that has led up to this.
Yeah, everything is all led up to the picture, and I basically think that just the overall summary of just the Broncos offseason in general, just because of the overall disappointment, is that very famous scene from Get Smart, which is, by the way, a very underrated gem.
Well, that is a sucker punch to the gonads.
Like, it's a sucker punch because we were hoping to at least have something, and we've got nothing, and then there's obviously the chorus, which is the very famous scene in Guardians, which is, I have a plan. I don't know what that plan is, but I have a plan, basically. So I have to assume that Sean Payton and the rest of the Broncos have a plan. The problem with it, and this is just overall, just relatively speaking, when it comes to this Denver Broncos team, is when you are maintaining status quo, like, the Broncos do have a good roster, a pretty good roster. The problem is when you are maintaining its status quo, that also means your needs are the same. And when the needs are the same and the teams that you're fighting for, in essence, even in division or even in conference, are getting better, it means you're also kind of getting worse, basically, too. So by maintaining status quo, you're also getting worse. Are like, you cannot go by strictly doing status quo. You absolutely have to make sure that, like, you are making sure that the additions that you have for a football team are quality additions, new additions, not re-additions. Because I think that's the thing is like we can go through continuity. We can talk about all we want about the 86% retention rate or whatever it was last year. Fantastic number. You rarely see it. You cannot rely on that just because you went to an ASU championship game and were a Bo-Nix ankle away from basically going to the Super Bowl. And I think that if you're relying off of that, that is a potentially false hope that you're putting your faith in.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, the thing that just like gets to me is it's like if you ignore that, throw out everything that every other team in the AFC has done this offseason and just like don't even look at the fact that like, oh, they got better and we did nothing. This team is actually legitimately worse than it was a week ago because you lost John Franklin Myers, who you could have had the opportunity to pay when you paid the rest of these guys. And if you're going to bring back anyone else on this roster, you probably should have brought back him because he is a defining force in the middle of that defensive line. And if you don't have him there, like that's a huge question mark. I mean, I understand like they like Uwazurike and okay, but there's so much like it feels like they're pushing their chips to the table so much on internal development at a bunch of positions, which is good, but you don't do that when you are, a couple of pieces away from legitimately winning a Super Bowl. Like that's something that you do when you do a restart or a rebuild or a refresh, whatever you want to call it, and you get younger and you just drafted a young quarterback, which yes, we did, but you are in that rebuilding, like you're in the Titans phase. Like you have a young quarterback who you don't know exactly what he's going to be like. He's in like his second year in the league after showing some promise, and you're trying to like build around him and do kind of a restart. That's when you do that. That's when you try to get younger. You try to capitalize on like some of the guys that could develop. But that's not where this team is. This team is literally like potentially a piece or two away from going to the Super Bowl, which we would have done legitimately if Bo didn't break his ankle, which like revisionist history, that's always going to be a what if. But
for sure,
it's just the fact that you also lost John Franklin Myers and like interior pressure is so huge in shaping a defense that that's not easy to replace.
Yeah, and not to be a little bit too glass half full here, we are on a Wednesday to where that it's in essence day 3 of free agency. Now, you can absolutely add bodies. You can absolutely add new bodies, if you will, still to this team. Like that, so it can definitely happen. The problem is just there's just already been so many contracts that have been thrown out. There's already been so many players, it feels like, that have already been signed. The question just continues to be asked, if you will, what is the plan, right? Like truly, what is the plan of attack? Because frankly, there are only 2, from my vantage point, logical points of view. And obviously, I say this just with, the fine lines of copium, if you will. And that is something that I was getting flamed a little bit for thinking it was, in terms of coping. And frankly, I was just simply asking the question because it seems, frankly, easy to ask the question. And Moose River Hummer asks this, and it's rhetorical, because Davis Webb, how much of this is just, and Brendan, you kind of talked about it with Davis Webb, how much of this is simply, Davis Webb, the communication, which we know was such a massive problem. And even Sean Payton even admitted that. So for as much as we talk about running it back and possibly wanting to get better, and they didn't necessarily bring anybody in, they still, at least on that point and on that record, admitted, right, like the communication problems and everything on top of that. So is everything all leading up to just the fact that this is Davis Webb and the communication is going to be a little bit easier with those same players because of the retention and the ability for that retention to be a little bit easier for those players? Because that is something that all three of us have mentioned, is that it should, at least at the most part, be easier for some of these players to get the verbiage, shorten verbiage, and understand probably exactly the vision that Sean Payton had in mind for that offense.
I mean, I can see it being that, but that shouldn't deter you from the fact to still upgrade at some of these positions.
Understand?
And I get that whole point. I do. It's just, I don't know, like bringing back like an Adam Troutman, is that really going to make a difference at the end of the day? And I posed this question. I was asking, and I meant it sincerely. I was like, any of the guys that we re-signed, do they have a market for other teams? And like I understand like JK might have one, Singleton and Stranad may, but do the rest really have a market out there in the league?
No, I mean it's a fair question. That's the thing. It's a very fair question. Troutman maybe, just because it seems like despite what we might feel at times, even for him as a blocker and at times a receiver, it seems like they still would probably value a player like that in that league. So Troutman probably would be another one. But the others, Nate Atkins, a Matt Henningsen, a Lucas Kroll, best player on the team. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very frustrating because there are guys, and ironically enough, there's still guys out there right now in free agency where, that can still help, boost this roster a bit in some of the position rooms, but it's just frustrating. It really is.
Yeah.
Nate Atkins, I can see. Nate Atkins is legitimately a difference maker in the run blocking game, which unfortunately this team sorely has need of in a lot of ways. I get like RJ Harvey was not great, but it just also seemed like we were not getting it done in the run game in terms of like setting him up for success. And I do think Nate Atkins is like a legitimate difference maker as a blocker. Awesome. I guess you can kind of make that argument a little bit for Troutman. He's okay. Prentice, I love Prentice. Everyone loves Prentice. Everyone is okay with that one.
Yeah.
Lucas Kroll, I just like, okay, whatever. I mean, I guess they like him and he just has the spot in the room. But this has been the worst tight end room in the league for
2 years, 3 years,
going on a decade. And it just has not been improved in the slightest at all. And there's literally what I don't understand is you are in a position where you see two of the best tight ends, not young at this point, two of the best tight ends in the league in your same division in Brock Bowers and the aging Mr. Kelsey, who is back yet again. And yeah, he's, lost some in the tank, but like how you see what they are able to do for their offense, those two players are able to do for their offenses, and even like the Chargers have some guys, and not like prioritize that in any way, shape, or form beyond signing Evan Ingram, who's okay. He had some bad drops and he's not getting younger and he's had some injury issues. Like I like him. I don't think he's like a bad tight end, but like if he's your tight end one, if he's your tight end two, I guess I get it. And then like Nate Atkins is tight end three, whatever. And maybe they're going after someone in the draft. I saw that there was a report that they're visiting with David Njoku. I guess there could still be some moves to be made here. And I think I saw something about like Dallas Goedert is actually not available until Friday because of something with like his void time got extended. I don't know, but it just seems like, I don't know. I just don't understand how you just run it back with that room.
Yeah.
When you can see how bad that room has been and subsequently how much having a talented tight end is helpful for the other offenses literally in your division. And also the fact that we didn't even draft anyone in what was a very good tight end draft last year. No one didn't draft anyone high. And then, yes, you have Caleb Lohner there who's still just – that's a flyer. You don't even know who he is. He's just a name. He's a camp body at this point. Like, it's just frustrating. It's frustrating.
Yeah. Well, and to Tommy's point, I think the thing is like, and we said it's day 3, right? Like it's day 3. We're hoping at least something comes out of this, as far as like that they have a plan that they bring in some of these other players that could potentially be another body, or I should say a fresh new body. The other part of that too is like because of everything that we've seen, we have no idea if that's going to come, just because they have retained so many other, of their own players, right? So it's just a hard thing to predict, right? And so it's just I do wonder sometimes if this is the third option. Tommy does mention focus on the draft. I do wonder for a team, relatively speaking, that does not rely on playing rookies for the most part, is this particular year the year of all things that the Broncos might actually be relying on the fact that if there are some certain rookies at said positions, are they playing them, right? Because I think that the argument sake that is at least positive from the sake of even these contracts. So as much as there's been some bitching and complaining about the signings, from myself included, and obviously a fair amount of Broncos Twitter and everything, they're short deals, right? Like they are short deals that they can be able to easily get out of, right? Very important to still phrase that, is that they can be able to get out of those deals. So more money will be off the books and opportunities for possibly some of these younger players to take that next step from this draft process and everything. So, and in that draft process, you can go out and get a linebacker, you can go get a tight end and everything. As far as the tight end position is concerned, Brandon, one thing I was going to add to this is that it does feel like at this point, from where we're standing, they're pushing all their eggs in this basket for spreading the entire wealth or most of the wealth to Evan Ingram, which I would argue is definitely a pretty wise move for at least that tight end room, because they really didn't utilize him all that much. Some to his own problems, obviously with some of the drops, but they still never utilized him.
Yeah, and that's a good call out about that Njoku report. I literally just saw it as I was briefly scrolling as I was walking to the gym. So I was like, oh, that's interesting, but I didn't even look into it more. I didn't find it anywhere else though, so that makes sense that was not true. So cool. That just takes away some more excitement that I had about something. Anyway, yeah. So I do think yes, focus on the draft. There's definitely still some players to be had in the draft. This is a good linebacker draft. I'm happy with that. This is an okay running back class, although last year was way better, and there were other players that could have taken other than RJ Harvey. And just forgive me for not trusting this front office with the draft, because they also haven't had the best record recently of draft success. They took Shade Barron. I know it's obviously way too early for us to say anything about I'm not saying he's a bust. It's way too early, but he wasn't an impact player for you. RJ Harvey, not an impact player for you. Pat Bryant was pretty good. Okay, I'll give you that one. But when he was taken, no one liked it. I mean, there's a guy in this room right now who still doesn't like it. And just, it's something that yes, there's definitely moves to be made there, and it could shape out. But I don't know if I'm trusting this team front office to make the best decisions there. RJ Harvey was good. Yeah, I'm not saying he was bad. I would say he was okay. He was good as a pass catcher. He was not the best as a pass blocker, and he was also not the best just as a pure running back. He missed holes pretty frequently, and he wanted to just continuously bounce everything outside. He got a little bit better at that, but he was okay. Where I was mostly going with this is I just don't know if I trust this team and this front office right now with what they're going to do in the draft. And I'm sounding very pessimistic, and I'm trying to move off that because I don't want to just be negative. And I definitely think there's moves to still be made. And I'm positive that something will happen. They will make a move, but it's they seem to be what does the compensation look like? Are we going to do a trade? It just seems like we are moving very slowly. And you have to capitalize on these opportunities when you have them. When you are in a situation where you have a good franchise quarterback on a rookie deal. I saw someone mention, I think it was Josh, Bo's going to be here 4 times longer than Peyton Manning, and that's why we went all in with Peyton Manning. But Bo's only going to be on a rookie deal for 3 more years, maybe, right? So that's got to be something you factor in. But what I was really, again, getting to with all this, and the other thing I wanted to mention with the draft, I think that personally, the free agency to me is a little bit more of a, I hesitate to say sure thing. It's not a sure thing. The draft to me is an absolute just like gamble. It's a dart. It's a dart throw. It's a crapshoot. You have no idea who's going to be good. It doesn't matter where you pick them. People flame out all the time that get picked in the first round, and you get 7th rounders and undrafted free agents that just come out of nowhere and explode. With free agency, you at least have some level of like sample size on them in the NFL, and you know what they can do in the NFL. Whereas with the rookie, it's like, okay, you know what they did in college. You're projecting on what they could do in the NFL. And it's really just like it's also, you're competing with literally 32 other teams that, yes, that's also the case in free agency, but you actually have some control in free agency where you could make a better offer. In the draft, it's just like, okay, you can try to trade, and if no one accepts it, then it's just whoever's on the board when you're on the clock, right? So that's where I'm at with the draft. But anyway, George, go for it.
I mean, when it comes to the draft, I get excited for it, but like after last year, we all thought running back was going to be the answer in the first round, or maybe another position. But if they're just going to take best player available because they believe that the roster is good enough where they really don't have any holes to fill and really any team needs, they might do it again this year at 30. So we might not draft a linebacker where we probably need to, and Jacob Rodriguez will probably be the best one available just sitting right there for us. Kenyon Sadiq is not going to fall down to 30, but I mean, that's for this scenario. Let's just say it happens. I mean, I don't know. Like, so many things can happen during the draft. If they're going to go BPA again this year, and one of like a defensive safety, like that kid from Toledo, if he falls, right?
He's a good player.
Yeah, and no one's complaining if he's a good player or not. It's just the Broncos have, like, I understand when people say, okay, the Broncos have a really good roster. I want to say really good roster. I'll say they have a good roster. They have some needs they need to fix, like ASAP. And tight end, linebacker have been 2 positions for 3+ years that we keep on crying about. And yet we're still having the same conversation. I mean, by next year, we're still gonna have the same conversation with the tight ends, linebackers, and hell, maybe even running back. I mean, and I've always been saying wide receiver, but no one wants to pay attention and just complain when the season comes around about our wide receivers not producing. But we're gonna have these same conversations until they get addressed. And right now in free agency, it did not get addressed. Last year in free agency, you can say that the Evan Ingram for tight end and the Dre Greenlaw for a linebacker, but you're about to cut Dre Greenlaw, and you didn't use Evan Ingram at all for tight end.
Yeah.
So what do you do this year? You re-sign Adam Troutman, Lucas Kroll, Nate Atkins.
Everybody.
All of those guys had the same amount of touchdowns as Frank Crum, by the way. And then you do absolutely nothing at linebacker. You re-sign Alex Singleton, who has been inconsistent at best. You sign Justin Strnad, who I think everybody likes, and he does have a future with his team, I believe.
He deserved the raise. That's the thing. Like
100%. But then you add nobody else.
Yeah.
So again, if you add nobody else, you better be selecting a linebacker, and Jacob Rodriguez will be there for you at 30. But are you going to take him, or are you going to do BPA like last year? We just don't know.
You also don't know if he's going to be there at 30, because he's kind of been shooting up like draft boards. Everyone loves him after his combine performance, and also just like turn on the tape. He's a good player.
He's a good
player.
He
might not even be there at 30. I don't know.
But I just think that to maybe kind of tie a bow on all of this before we move on, I think really what it really boils down to for the fans and probably just the anger of it all is just some of the contracts that have been handed out just specifically to 2 players. Everything else was probably going to end up being okay as far as retaining the players. But the contract to Troutman, the contract to Alex Singleton, I think sent the fan base to another realm, basically, just because of all of that. If we didn't necessarily get any of that, I mean, we probably aren't going to be as toxic, if you will. The fans aren't going to be necessarily as toxic on the timeline on Broncos Twitter, etc. So I think that's probably another reason for it. As far as the draft is concerned, though, this also kind of goes to the point of we don't know what their plan is, right? Like we don't know what their plan is. Their plan, frankly, for them retaining everybody could either be they're trading pick 30 for a playmaker. That still very well might happen because anything can change from now until the draft, if you will. But it all hinges on them being simply aggressive, right? It all hinges on them being simply aggressive, which we'll wait and see and find out there. The other side of it is being aggressive. We mentioned Kenyon Sadiq. Do they trade up for Kenyon Sadiq? If they do have a good roster by retaining everybody, which it seems they're telling us they feel like they have a good roster to retain everybody, then heck, go trade up from 30 and go get a Kenyon Sadiq. Or, frankly, if you really badly want extra running back help, go trade up for a Jeremiah Love. It's not our picks, but it's just if you want to do something that's aggressive for once, at least in the Sean Payton era, kind of surprise us a little bit, like surprise us to a degree and do something that is going to be a little bit outside that comfort zone. So I wouldn't be the least bit surprised at it. I think the other side of it too is I wouldn't be surprised if they trade back from 30. Like if they trade back from 30, you can really build out that roster from a linebacker perspective, a tight end perspective, an offensive line perspective, and wide receiver as well, because I know that they'll probably end up adding a wide receiver, and we know that George Payton has a man crush when it comes to corners, so I'm sure that we can easily throw a corner in there as well. So it's one where I think that there's at least still, because it's a draft, a lot of options at the table.
Yep.
So for anybody that is in the chat and that have not been a part of this when we do these mock drafts, you guys are as much of a GM as Jordan, Brandon, and I when we do these mock drafts. So we're going to do a mock draft, a 7-round mock draft using the Pro Football Focus simulator, which the reason why we did this was just by happenstance if we wanted to maybe trade for player or players, if you will, or even trade back or whatever. And you guys, like I said, are as much of a GM, as much of a draftee as the rest of us in making some of these picks. So are you guys, Brandon, Jordan, you guys ready to put yourself in the mode of being a GM? And by the way,
let's add at least one new player to this team.
Right. So, that's the thing, right? Like, to make us feel good, knowing the fact that the Broncos will add somebody new, I thought it was, good probably for us to do a mock draft to kind of finally get a chance to figure out what it feels to actually add someone new to this team. So, Jordan, Brandon, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So 7 rounds, and let's do it. Fernando Mendoza, Albert Reese, Jeremiah Love.
Oh, Ruben Bain went to the Browns. Him and Garrett. Wow.
Wow.
Okay. So before we even get into who's available, are we keeping this pick?
This is what we think is going to happen or what we want to happen?
Maybe just for the sake of having us feel good. And I know typically Brandon, Jordan, and for anybody that have been doing a part of this with us before, know that the first mock draft that we do every year, we start out with what we think is going to happen and we end it with what we think is going to happen. For the sake of free agency and for the sake of making us feel better, let's do what we want to have happen.
I still think this could even also be realistic. Like, I could see this team making a move with 30. So, even if I want us to trade that for a player, I actually think that could happen. And I did see the reports that there was a trade that was nixed by, no pun intended, by Sean Payton for a certain Dolphins wide receiver.
That'll be remained.
Is that legit? Like, I have no idea how to believe.
It is pretty legit, Brandon.
Okay. Love that. That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I love that for us. I think the other clip, Ray, that we need to find is the clip that you and I love so much, and that's the Deadpool fake laugh hiding real pain. You know?
Yeah,
Yes.
that is real.
All right. So as far as this is concerned, you do have the safety. You do have TJ Parker, which I'm actually surprised that he's on the board here. Denzel Boston, really good fit with Sean Payton. Obviously Colton Hood, he's a corner. Casey Concepcion is another popular one when it comes to the Broncos, and I think would be a pretty decent fit for this team. Lee Hunter has been a really popular one as far as to get a really beefy body. So as far as I'd assume we would want to go offense here, correct, Brandon Jordan?
Just to play into the meme a little bit, I actually do like the idea of taking Emmanuel McNeil-Ward at 30. Yeah. Like I actually would like that move, as much as I feel like that would probably like implode the rest of the fan base. He's just a good player, and I mean we already know like how much we love Hufanga. Brandon Jones has been good, but Brandon Jones, I don't know. He's like 27, but he's not been the healthiest when he's been obviously on this team. So I do actually like the idea of going after a safety. Like I think safety is like low key a little bit of a need. Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen, but just to throw it out there, I actually would like that pick. I'm not going to do it here, but I actually would like that pick. So my first question. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's also, and this is just how down bad we are. Harrison Smith was cut today by the Vikings, and it seems like he wants to play. So if you need a third safety replacement, and this is how down bad we are, Harrison Smith would probably make a lot of sense for safety 3, and it was a George Payton draft pick, I believe, too. So,
Harrison Smith for the Broncos would be like that Carmelo Anthony jersey for the Hawks.
Right.
So,
because you have Vikings fans on your side, right?
Yes, my father, who is trying to disown them by the day.
So who knows if there's a world. So Brandon mentioned the safety, not necessarily pitching the idea to take a safety. Dare I say the position that you would want to take here, Brandon? He's Jordan, sorry.
I'm looking straight at the wide receivers. Ironically enough, I'm not a big believer in Denzel Boston. I can get talked and convinced about it. I'm not completely out on him. I'm just, I'm not that big of a fan of his than everybody else is. Somebody like Jeremy Bernard, though, Chris Bell, and especially that guy at the bottom, Chris Brazel, who I've been high on. Those are 3 guys that can move me in terms of the draft. What I would do, though, is I would get this 30th overall pick, grow a pair, stop mixing it, and send it to Miami. And just go and be aggressive. But again, that is just me.
Well, Brandon, we're the ones that would, and obviously the chat too. We're the ones, if we're going to be doing what we would want to have happen. Brandon, are you okay with trading pick 30 to
I
Miami.
mean, the guy wants to come over. I don't understand. The guy wants to come over,
Does.
and
He
you
does.
just don't want to do it. And you've had opportunity after opportunity, and a third time's a chance. I mean, I don't even get. I'm gonna lose my shit.
Brandon,
I would take that round 1 pick 30 draft selection and immediately, without question, trade it
okay.
to the Jacksonville Jaguars for Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh,
And I would also do that too.
okay.
I would
So,
sprint to the phone and I would literally get on a plane and hand deliver it to them myself. I will
So
make their pick for them.
so you're trading a first
Give me
round.
Brian Thomas Jr.
So you're taking a first round pick because obviously it had been reported it's a second round pick.
I don't know what to believe. I don't know. I mean, if they'll take a second round pick, I'll do that 100 out of 100 times. I don't know what to believe about that situation. I don't know why they wouldn't want anything other than first round pick. So I'm going to say I'll give them pick 30. But I mean, if I can give them a second round pick, okay. I just don't think I don't know if I would believe that they would take that, but you never know. I would also be okay with Jalen Waddle. I just personally want Brian Thomas Jr.
I would absolutely love Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, I even wrote about him on how the
So-
Broncos drafted him.
So it seems like Brian Thomas Jr. is going to end up being the consensus for agreeing on something at least. So 62.
Do you want BTJ, Cameron?
I'm not saying no. I mean, I'm not even saying no to AJ. I'm not even saying no to AJ Brown at this point. And actually, we could do this. Hold on. Where is it? If we're gonna really make this like the best thing for both sides and everybody involved, we'll go AJ Brown, Riley Moss, and then what was the package? What was the projected package? It was Riley Moss, and was it a second?
That was a third.
A third? Look at that. They'll actually take it without us forcing it. Oh, wait.
I mean, is Riley Moss a part of this team's future? Have they answered that question internally?
I don't
Because
know.
you did draft a first-round corner last year for some apparent reason.
But again, this is what we would want to do, too.
I think we can have this be a discussion of what do we want to happen and also what do we think could happen. And I think that they could line up pretty well. My question is, if it's like, okay, if it's Riley Moss at a third for AJ Brown, do you want that with what you're going to have to pay him? Or if you can get Brian Thomas Jr. for a second round pick, I would literally make that deal yesterday. That's actually crazy. I know I had said I'd give 30, but like I did some more digging and I do see the people that were like saying, no, I heard that he's available for a second. That's crazy. I would rather go with him just because, like, yeah, it's a little bit of a higher pick, but I'm also not going to have to pay him as much. He's younger.
Yeah.
But I do also like the idea of, paving the way for more Baron snaps and also seeing what you have in KAD. My only thing with like losing Riley Moss, I mean, yeah, he had some very unfortunate biased flags come his way, but like he makes plays. So I wouldn't mind keeping him, but I would not be mad at this trade. Any of these wide receiver trades I would do. Literally any of them.
Okay,
Do
so
something, George, please.
so let's make a consensus, if we will. Let's just make a consensus. What's the trade? What's the player? So we can move on.
I say, by the way, just real quick, this guy that says Denzel Boston rarely drops the ball. I don't know if you saw his combine, but it was pretty rough. I would go with Brian Thomas Jr. just in this scenario.
Okay, Brian Thomas Jr. Okay, and then so T Fishes. I do agree. I would. Denzel Boston, I will say, for my sake, is pretty hard to ignore. Is pretty hard to ignore, at least at pick 30. But in the vein of us probably wanting to trade this pick for a player, yeah, I agree. I think that
if Brian Thomas was in this draft class, what wide receiver would he be?
2.
I think he's easily number one. It's him
Really?
and Tyson.
I think Tyson is above him. That's why I put him at 2.
I don't know.
I would say
Carnell Tate's really good.
Carnell Tate too. But I still think, I mean, you could put Carnell Tate or you could put Tyson at 1. I still think he's at least top 3. I would still put him 2.
I mean, Brian Thomas is 6'2", 6'3". He runs a 4.3, and
I know he's ridiculous.
rookie year had 1
literally
yards.
Blown away.
So-
that the rumor is that he would be available for a second. That's insane. Yeah. Do that every single day.
So T Fishes, it goes to show you that he's been doing some simulations before. He did say Brian Thomas would be worth a second and a fourth, and sure enough, we have Brian Thomas for 62 and 108, and it looks like they're going to be accepting it. Do we do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Brian Thomas is a Denver Bronco.
Love it.
We have a new addition to this football team, and it is Brian Thomas. Now,
Junior.
Junior. Now we still have pick 30. So now that we
just go all in, get Denzel Boston too. I'm just kidding.
Is Jacob Rodriguez still available?
Yeah.
What does PFF have him labeled at?
He is still available. Yes, he's 45th. We could take him. I would take him personally. I would take him too. I would take him personally if we already done the trade for Rodriguez and we involve the second round pick, knowing the fact that he won't be there. I probably would take him.
I'd take him too.
A couple of linebackers, by the way, and this is just like a subtle thing that I want to pass along. As far as a subtle thing is, I will say that Jay Galday and Schroeder, Galday specifically would be someone I would circle for pick 62 if he's at all available for the Broncos, as well as Jacob Rodriguez. So I agree, Brandon. You're on board with Jacob Rodriguez.
I am. I do want to say one thing. It's not the sexy pick, but and I can never pronounce this man's name correctly, so I apologize.
The tackle. But
Max in I don't even know.
In Honshaw?
Ian Hawker? I actually don't know. The tackle from Arizona State.
Yeah.
I think he's a potential replacement for either of our tackles moving forward. And Garrett Bowles is unfortunately not getting any younger. We got to invest something at the tackle position here eventually in the draft. He literally is the last tackle that we had drafted was Garrett Bowles. So I would not be upset with him. Yeah. I know he played primarily right tackle. You could see what he would be able to do at left tackle. I think that'd be actually a good pick, but do I think would happen? Probably not. I'm okay with going with Jacob Rodriguez. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. So Jacob Rodriguez, I think, is the consensus, even by some of the people in the chat. So Jacob Rodriguez it is. And we don't have pick 62. Our next pick is going to end up being 94. So what would you guys feel like as our direction? Would have to almost be running back?
Just see what running backs are available.
Maybe tight end, probably.
Well, Jadarian Price went. Man, that is the one downside of not having a second round pick.
Right.
This is not the best running back class. Also, Max Clear just went. That's sad. I didn't expect either of them to get to us here, but that is somewhat unfortunate.
As far as best player available, looks like you have.
Damn, Markel Bell just went right before us. Oh my God. He would have been the one, Brandon.
He would have been the one.
Oh, jeez.
He would have been the chosen one. Eli Stowers. Yeah, of course, he's not going to make it that far. Who's available at tight end?
Nate Borkacher? We talking to Nate Borkacher?
Who else is available at tight end? Okay.
Jack Endries, Justin Jolie.
Wow, this is sad.
It's not a bad tight end class, Jordan. It's really not.
It's
Dylan Bentley, Martin Klein's been a pretty decent one. Joe Royer, obviously a live radon has been a decent one. Tanner Colesall has been pretty slept on. They really hate Oscar Delp. Holy crap!
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Is all the way down there.
Who's
As far
available at running back?
I know one. Oh, look at that guy! Who's that guy? Who is that guy? Who's that guy? The second guy that's right below Seth McGowan.
You mean
had
Nick
a-
Singleton?
Who had a formal interview with the Denver Broncos at the Combine and called Sean Payton nonchalant.
I can tell you what, he's very nonchalant when it comes to trade talks. I can tell you that.
So what's the direction you guys think? As far as wide receiver, if we wanted out another body, Stribling is Ted Hurst. We do love some Ted Hurst in the chat.
Yep. I mean,
We're ignoring CJ Daniels, Jordan, but there's the Ted Hurst over there.
Sean does like captains for wide receivers and guys that can block, so CJ Daniels would be a guy, but since Sean is very bad at picking wide receivers, he'll probably pick like Bryce Lance or something.
But do you guys have an idea for as far as relative on maybe
Maybe trade back and get some more picks.
So what would you trade?
There's 94 for 103 and maybe 175.
That seems like an interested team would be the Jets right now.
Yeah.
So do 94, 103, and what?
175 for the Jets. Okay. Add in another.
Slide in 178.
Yeah, because they already have three picks in that range. So if they want to jump up 9 spots and get a top 100 pick, yeah, that's 2 compensatory picks.
Okay.
There you go. They wouldn't mind trading 2 comp picks.
Plus, it's the Darren Mugi connection. Of course, Ted Hurst goes.
So go back to tight ends real quick.
I have an idea.
I don't think I saw him go, but I'm curious.
Julie?
No. Okay. I like Michael Trigg. I think he's actually like a kind of an underrated tight end in this class. He's just kind of plays like, if you're looking for like a receiving tight end, he basically is just like a gigantic wide receiver who has pretty good hands. I like him, but I'm open to other options as well.
Defensive line? Rashawn Benny, Chris McClellan. I mean, Rashawn Benny and Chris McClellan, for anybody that does not know, they lit up the Senior Bowl when I was there. Like McClellan, Zion Young, Benny, and Derek Moore just obliterated the Senior Bowl. I think it was Derek Moore or Zion Young just lit up Jordan's favorite tackle, Markel Bell.
Unbalanced.
So defensive line would be another one as far as the JFM replacement that I would probably want to throw in too.
The Michael Trigg one kind of intrigues me.
You also are a Trigg fan?
But we also have 132, so it's like, 130. So we could slide in a D lineman.
I mean, I do like the idea of shoring up the defensive line some more, especially again after losing JFM. But for me, Trigg is the best tight end available remaining. Now Benny went.
Capehart, that's another one. We like, okay.
Your boy Emmett Johnson is right there too.
And Justin, I guess, yeah, we could, in terms of probably value, we could go Emmett Johnson as far as running back. for anybody that wants to say it, yeah, he did have a pretty poor combine, but his toughness as a runner is very underappreciated. I think his toughness is also what makes his, if you will, elusiveness really fascinating. Yeah, I think there's definitely some things with RJ Harvey that are pretty comparable, but I think he's definitely more. He's definitely much more of a back than RJ Harvey in the sense of he's a little bit more explosive, as far as probably between the tackles, which is something that obviously this team really needs. As far as Katron Allen, I saw T mention that. Katron is in here. They can get him a little bit later. I'm staying away from Singleton just because of his ankle injury. As far as value right now, it's just I'm taking the bias aside. It's really hard to ignore Emmett Johnson at pick 130 right now.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree.
You didn't want to look back at the defensive lineman?
You can
We
probably
signed back Matt Henningsen. We're good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no problem at all there. All right, I'm okay with doing Johnson.
And then now our next pick is going to be one. This 168 probably feels like the sweet spot to go get a defensive lineman, maybe an offensive tackle. I think this would be another sweet place to go get an offensive tackle as well. So there's also
My boy Klubnik was going to be a first-round pick.
Cabe Klubnik.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who remembers those hype trains?
Zane Durant. That's a pretty nice one. Zane Durant. That's a pretty nice one.
Jordan.
Yeah. That's a pretty nice one. Zane Durant would be one that would kind of catch my eye here.
How about the tackles? Are there any good tackles out?
As far as tackles or interior,
Oh no. There's not.
yeah. I mean, Mallman. Keegan Tross has been somewhat popular, but they hate him. We did not take safety for whatever it's worth. So
I kind of have a plan for safety. I'm not gonna lie.
Bishop Fitzgerald, who we just hired USC's safeties coach.
Mm-hmm.
So something to remember there.
If we're going back to defensive line for a second, I know you like Zane Durant. I know he's like, according to this, he's lower on the rankings, which is kind of surprising, but Xavier Harris go up a little bit, from Mississippi, dude is an absolute freak, man. He is a gigantic tank who should not be as athletic as he is. He's probably more of a nose tackle, but if you're kind of looking for, I mean, he could play three technique. If you're looking for like that replacement for John Frigley-Myers on the interior that could kind of push the pocket a little bit, I think he's a good one.
I kind of agree.
Okay. I mean,
I'm surprised they have him at 213. That's kind of crazy.
But honestly, of all things, like it's the question just becomes: does the team want to go trust themselves to go get a true nose tackle, right? And I think that like for me, that's one of the arguments why I wouldn't be upset if they want to go have like Lee Hunter at pick 30 or Caleb Banks at a pick 30, right? If they wanted to go that route, I would not be upset by that. So Tommy, as far as as I'm concerned, I think it's 9 or 10 with the 2 7th-round picks that they just added this year. I think it's 9. I
do like Zane Durant too. Like, I just think Zane Durant and Xavier Harris are kind of the polar opposites of each other. Xavier Harris is big enough; he might be a nose tackle, but he could also play three technique. I think Zane Durant is probably he's a little undersized. He's a little bit of a tweener. Like I think he probably can only play 3 technique, but
Yeah.
I'm happy with that pick.
As far as next positions, we can probably get the pick of the litter of who we want because we have 175 and 178. So, I know. Here's an idea. I know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know. Listen, I know we went out and we traded for Brian Thomas Jr. But there's a guy I told Jordan to do some research on from the Senior Bowl. He is staring me in the face right now.
You should get that checked out.
And his name is Tyron Montgomery.
Oh, you actually threw a curveball at me.
Oh, the guy from John Carroll? Yeah.
I'm telling you.
The university that no one knows about? Yeah, he
threw a curveball at me. I thought you were going to say Jeff Caldwell.
Tyron Montgomery. The dude, I mean, he obviously fits the age range of probably what the Broncos would want, but he just started football at JUCO. So he's a bit raw. But what he showed out at the Senior Bowl is something that I think that would probably also, as much as I also would want him, he also would kind of fit the narrative of probably what the Broncos would want as well. So Tyron Montgomery would be electric in this offense.
I do like Tyron Montgomery. Dude absolutely balled out of the Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Keep in mind, we are contractually obligated. Well, I guess we're not George Payton, but we are contractually obligated to at some point select a defensive back. So we're going to have to do that at some point.
So here's the move. We have 178. Tyron Montgomery is going to be available at 178. So we don't have to.
Because the Chiefs, I'm just going to laugh.
Well, he's rated at like 198. So we can take him at ones. So as far as tackles, you have Wagner, Shelton, Rucci, Keegan Trost, who we can get around probably the 246s, the 250s, if you will. As far as interior, we could get a center.
Pat Coogan is interesting.
I'm down to get a center.
Yeah, how's Pat Coogan still there?
I don't know. That ranking is too low.
I mean,
I'm down to get him, or I'm down to get. I mean, you're right. The Montgomery probably comes back to us. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, they both probably do the way this is going. But like, I would take Pat Coogan.
Yeah, I would probably go Pat Coogan because you also know he's, for all intents, I guess they just signed Linderbaum. But I was gonna say it would have made a ton of sense to go Coogan and Mendoza together with the Raiders. But
that's true.
Dude, that was so much money for Tyler Linderbaum, man.
Yeah,
I'm honestly surprised that they're able to still honor that contract after the Max Crosby trade deal. But.
So we're going Coogan?
Yeah, let's do Coogan.
Yeah. And
then wide receiver, there he is. And yes, Jeff Caldwell is still there.
Right,
the reason why I'm a little taken back some on Caldwell is just because Brian Thomas Jr. already added that size to the room, you know.
T-Fish just makes an interesting point here.
It's another reason why I think that as much as he's very, very talented, he also fits the mold because of the Devon Bailey stuff, if you will, being him an older prospect coming into the league. As far as some other ones, you know what? Caden Weegan is a Sean Payton wide receiver if I've ever seen one.
I don't think I've seen him play.
He's special. If they are really focused on having Marvin Mims being a true focal point of the offense, and then having and also having a special teams demon, Caden Weegan would make a ton of sense for this team. He was one of the best special team players in the entire college football last year for 2 years running.
You know, I wrote about Kobe Young 2 years ago on Predominantly Orange.
And now he's out there. Lewis Bond, they're really low on. Oh, Malik Benson. There's really a wide receiver named Squirrel White. Do you guys want to hold off on wide receiver maybe?
I mean, we could take a flyer on Montgomery.
There's another idea. Throw another dart at linebacker.
Oh, wait. What? Harold Perkins is ranked 185?
Mm-hmm.
According to who?
Are you okay with that, Brandon? I'm okay even doubling up.
According to PFF, baby.
The other one would also probably be tight end too. Where are we at on tight end? We can go get Oscar Delp right now.
Yeah, Harold Perkins is not going to be available at 178.
Neither will Oscar
I'm
Delp.
okay with that.
Neither will Oscar Delp. So is it Oscar Delp or is it Harold Perkins?
Harold Perkins.
Yeah, Harold Perkins.
Okay. I love the see. That's the thing is like, and this is I hope the plan for the Broncos in this upcoming draft is I hope that they take advantage of the fact that they can be able to come away with 2 tight ends or 2 linebackers at some point in this, because the linebackers specifically in this class is so deep that they can really rebrand that room, and contractually for what they have in that room, they can do that. Sierra Wright went to Minnesota. Sonny Styles' brother just got drafted. The freak athlete at quarterback that could be the next Terrell Pryor. Taylor Green.
Go to safety. Yeah, no questions asked. Dude, I don't understand how he's 286.
So
I don't.
Okay, so to appease you, obviously we went and got out Emmett Johnson. It would be fitting for us to get you one of your Miami boys. This is your floor for Jacoby Thomas and why you probably would have him higher.
I mean, he is probably the hardest hitting safety in the he's not probably, he is the hardest hitting safety in the draft. If you just turn on his tape, he's nowhere near the 286th best player in the draft. There's just absolutely no way. I think Louis Riddick has even talked about it, or he mentioned him on one of the broadcasts. There's no way that he's this low. I mean, it's embarrassing that he's even this low. I don't understand. Him and Keontae Scott are one of the best secondary duos in this draft. Without a doubt.
So I want to propose something to you since we're talking about Miami. Would you trade Riley Moss? Correct, because there's a lot of talk about this, right? Like trading Riley Moss, sliding Barron to the outside, right? Like there's talk about that, right?
Yeah.
And they need a third safety. Would you trade Riley Moss, slide Barron to the outside, and draft Keontae Scott to be your third safety?
Heartbeat. Would have done it yesterday.
So what do you and would you consider Keontae? Because I will say this: Keontae Scott is one of my favorite prospects in this entire draft process.
Yeah, people say that he's going to make that transition to safety. He's really good as a nickel. He's really good. So I don't know, but I think he's going to be good regardless. But Jacoby Thomas being that low is asinine.
So as far as other positions, this is probably the year we probably need to take a tackle. So Ryan Mahlman, Keegan Trost, we can take. T brought up the fact that he was a huge Keegan Frost guy. Keegan Trost. So, yeah, why don't we do it? I'm down to take a tackle.
I'm down
Yeah.
too.
Plus, it's only fitting that Landon, who's a huge fan of the show, is a big Missouri fan. So, you got to appease the Missouri fans in the chat.
You guys want to take Taylor Green and have him be
a wide receiver?
Let's see. Taylor Green.
His measurables, man, are insane. Are you looking him up?
Yeah, I'm looking up his measurables because he's like.
He had the best QB measurements of the entire
6'6",
combine.
227.
Yeah, he had the best combine score of any quarterback since 2003.
Could he just turn into
Terrell Pryor?
Sean Payton's Taysom Hill? Use him like Taysom Hill?
Yeah.
He's
Or
a bit
the other
smaller.
guy that's like Taysom Hill's Hayes King.
What running backs are available? Just out of curiosity.
Double. Brandon wants a double dip. Jim,
Oh, you know
maybe.
like Tyler Bidet?
Jamal Haynes.
I'm not going to reply to that question.
Adam
Adam
Randall. How about Adam Randall? Wide receiver, converted the running back. He's 6'2", maybe on the edge of 6'3", 220 to 225. He is a very raw prospect. But yeah, that's a very large man.
I wish Mark Fletcher was in this draft.
But he's not.
He's not, you're right. But I also wish he isn't because he's one more year on Miami.
What, out of curiosity, what wide receivers are available?
All right. Wide receiver, Malik Benson.
Squirrel White. I mean, when we played FSU, I never heard of Squirrel White.
I've never heard of that guy.
I mean,
That's crazy.
Barry and Brown.
Romeo Brinson, Miami guy.
Well,
South Florida kid, but
I was gonna say. Do you know?
Northwestern.
Do we double dip at tight end or no?
No, we
If you
do
guys
not.
like Cam, if you like Adam Randall, I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
I mean, is this guy like a NFL scout? Jesus Christ, this guy is awesome.
By the way, if you guys ever get a chance to, just probably for a tight end sake, Riley Nowakowski.
Yo, this guy actually tricked me. He said, "Hold on, breaking news," and then he goes, "Broncos sign nobody again." Yeah, that's awesome. I actually rose up oh my god, jeez.
That is fantastic. Love that so much.
Do you want to do Adam Randall?
I wouldn't be mad at double dipping at a running back. I don't know a ton about him, but if you guys like him, I'm totally okay with it.
So just to recap, you got linebacker, tight end, D-line, center, linebacker, safety, and tackle. Do you guys want to? Are you good with that,
Yeah.
Jordan?
I'm good with that.
All right. So what we'll do for anybody that has been following, and obviously we've been having some streaming problems with X, is that we will share this on the Mainly Broncos Twitter page. And then I'm sure that, it will be praised as all get out, knowing the fact that we have added new additions, to this Broncos team. And obviously with it being a mock draft, that it will be heralded as a very very good mock draft by everybody. Everybody will love this mock draft. But no, any last words as far as the mock draft is concerned?
Not really. I mean, we got a guy that's awesome. We got Jacob Rodriguez. We did our job and actually got a wide receiver that can actually help out, the Broncos. And, we're not conservative and we're actually aggressive and we don't shut down a trade like how a certain coach has done 3 times already. But yeah, I think it was good.
Hold up. They gave us an F for Xavier Harris. PFF doesn't know shit.
I actually really liked the class. I mean, I think it would be incredible.
Dude, if literally all we did in this entire draft class was Brian Thomas Jr. And Jacob Rodriguez, and then you told me we drafted a tight end and a running back, I would already be happy with that. But that's a solid draft.
Yeah. And by the way, yes, Mike, I would absolutely love for the Broncos to have traded for Max Trent. Frankly, at this point, I would love to see the Denver Broncos actually sign someone outside the organization. That's probably for starters. I would love to see that. John Michael Gillenberg is definitely a really solid tight end. He was the only player from Wyoming that was invited to the Senior Bowl. Pretty solid tight end, decent size. We know that Wyoming does kind of turn out some pretty decent football players. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a tight end in the NFL for a good 6 to 8 years. So yeah, I am very, very interested in his development. So, but any other final thoughts? Kind of figure we just kind of short, and then hopefully by next week we can have some other positive news to talk about.
Dude, the fact that literally there's nothing to talk about. I can't even speak. I'm so frustrated. The fact that there was literally nothing to talk about at all. I know free agency just started today. Shut up. This is insane. This is ridiculous. Malpractice. Like, I wasn't even expecting break the bank, right? I'm not saying break the bank. You have legitimate holes on this roster. There were people available that could have filled them, at least at given you a modest improvement, and they were relatively affordable, and you didn't do anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I tweeted it. I'm sure everybody else saw it. If the Denver Broncos signed even a long snapper outside the organization, I will be happy. I will be twerking for a long snapper if they sign him outside the organization. That's how
If that's the only outside player, though, that we add, there might be pitchforks at Dove Valley.
Oh, of course. But I'm just saying, if
that was the first one that we had signed, there would probably be pitchforks at Dove Valley.
Which, by the way, I have to laugh because Jordan knows because we were talking in the Slack chat. I mentioned that, and then 5 or 10 minutes later, a long snapper just signed with Arizona, and so it's just you could not have scripted any more than perfect timing there. Thank you guys to everybody that was hopping in the chat. First things first, though, we do have someone that wants to critique our mock draft.
The mocks that you guys read for the last month, what do you want me to say? It's embarrassing sometimes.
You know what's embarrassing? Literally everything that you've done in the past 48 hours.
Right.
Yeah, just extremely frustrating. You would think getting out of the Russell Wilson dead cap money situation, coming off of AFC Championship game appearance, and just so much more. And there is little to no movement.
Again,
we're actively worse. We are legitimately a worse team today than we were 24 hours ago.
Yeah, but I'm being told that we don't know anything better than the GM, so we have no room to speak.
Again, but again, I love the head coach. I love everything that he's been given this franchise. He's definitely brought us out of the depths of poverty, for what this team has been. You just cannot live your life off of continuity. If you continue to live your life off of continuity, then you're going to get the same result. That's why that famous line of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. And, you can't keep doing that. Like, you absolutely cannot keep doing that. So hopefully the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, can at least do something to finally, get a chance to add some new bodies in that room. That's not just the draft, but just add some bodies. And frankly, maybe if you are, this is the Tommy's question more, if you are probably wanting to monitor something, and again, we don't know anything, but if you want to monitor something, there is a certain tight end that Jordan has frankly been wanting since day one of free agency. And that would be David Njoku, who's not signed. And frankly, it sounds like he's not available until tomorrow, or that he's not available.
I didn't know about that.
Or that
He's not like officially released yet.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. Dallas Goedert's the same way, which I thought was weird. So I think maybe the Broncos are maybe specifically waiting on those two, and then maybe that's where the pick of the litter really is that it's actually Goddard and Njoku, and it really is never Otten because they got word that Otten was going to be staying. So,
I mean, we also haven't even released Dre Greenlaw yet, so who knows?
Yeah. So anyway, love you guys. Make sure the subscribe button for the MHRT Network page. There is a join feature, membership feature, so make sure you guys hit that. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for the Mainly Broncos YouTube page. This was a great time. Again, to get a chance to talk with you. I know it's a really frustrating time as a Bronco fan, at least at this current juncture, in this current state of where we are in. But know that we love you guys. We love your guys' support. We still love the Denver Broncos. And even though we are fans, we can definitely be objectively critical of this football team. And, and so we definitely do hope for the best. And we do hope for the best. And we do hope that this team can, continue to improve, down the line. So again, thank you guys so much. And hopefully by next week, we are going to be talking about some new Denver Broncos.
Let's go Broncos! God bless Bo Nix!
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Tempo's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flame out. So high.